Hello engineers, in this video we will examine and compare IAM access control in both AWS and Azure clouds. If you enjoy my content, make sure you subscribe on my channel. IAM access control is the way that you can provide access in Azure or AWS resources. This means that when you need to access a resource that you have already created in a cloud provider, you will need first to authorize some access on this resource. In order to do that, you will need to use the IAM both on AWS and Azure. And we will now examine how we can use it in both platforms. It's the same concept, but it works a bit differently on those platforms. Let's first examine the Azure cloud. In the Azure cloud, when we create a specific resource, we can go and navigate on it, and then we have a pane on the left side which says Access Control IAM. Using this pane, we can go and add new permissions on it. As you can see, we can add role assignment or a co-administrator for this resource. We can also use the buttons which say View My Access, and also use the role assignment button which shows what accesses we have already provided on this resource. So in order to give access on a specific resource that we create under Azure, we should go and add a new role assignment, and inside this role assignment we must first specify what kind of role we need to give inside this resource. So as for now, in this example, I will use the reader role, and then I will go and select it and press the next button. Then I will need to specify on which user or identity I need to assign this reader role that I selected in the previous stage. So I can search for a specific user that I have inside my Active Directory, or search for a managed identity, which means that I will search for an object that I have created in my Azure AD, and I will use this to assign the specific resource. In general, using managed identities is a best practice in Azure Cloud or users that we have created as a service account. It is a best practice to use groups or service principal to assign resources and not give specific users a particular role. So there, as you can see, if we search for a member, we can filter and find also groups and service principal when we search for a specific entity. Then we can select the entity that we want. As for this example, I used my account, and then press the review and assign button. When we do that, we will see that this role assignment is now assigned in my resource, and when we navigate in role assignments, we can find the one that we have provided earlier on. This role assignment can be selected and also deleted by using the remove button. As you can see, I have some permissions that are inherited from the parent objects. As you can see, there is a resource that inherits from the subscription, the contributor role. The subscription is the upper level that we can provide resources inside our Azure cloud. So when we need to provide in all resources a specific role, then we should go under our subscription and add this role in the subscription. However, this is not a best practice, and you should only specify the particular role that each resource needs. You should not go and provide a holistic permissions inside the subscription. Is it clear to understand now that in order to provide an IAM access control in a resource inside the Azure cloud, you will need to navigate in the specific resource and assign those access? On the other side, when we need to assign a role inside AWS, we will need to go in IAM by searching the services, and then when we navigate to IAM, we should go under roles. Then there we will need to create a new role for our access that we need to provide in a specific resource. So when we create a new role, then we can select for which service or account this role is created. For example, we can go and select the AWS service and then select a Lambda or EC2 function. As you can see, the filter automatically provides some of the most popular services inside AWS. So when we select a Lambda function, we will need then to specify the role that this Lambda function will have inside our account. So when we provide administrator access and then press next, we can see that a policy is populated automatically from AWS, and then we will need to add the role name. So I will go now and add a test role as the name of this role that I create, and then I will press create role. This means that right now I have created a role for a Lambda function that will have administrator access inside my account. This is not a best practice to do, and you should not definitely do something like that, because this Lambda function will have administrator access. You should always narrow down your permissions to the specific ones that you need for each case. This not only works for AWS services, but as you saw in the Select Trust Entity page, we can also select an AWS account that we need, or another AWS account, or some custom trust policy or web identity. So we have a wide variety of options on how we can provide access to resources on AWS. The important thing to remember is that you should narrow down the permissions that you need inside the permission policies. It is clear now that when we need to provide access to AWS resources, we should need to search for IAM, Identity and Access Management, and there we should go and create a new role for the access in the resources that we need. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below if you use access control inside your cloud resources.